his death was something that shook the entire world, but for you and your daughter, it must have been a particularly seismic, shocking moment.
Devastating to get a call. Absolutely devastating. I had just talked to him the night before, actually. And no, 2 nights before. And to get that call, Joe Esposito actually called me and said, Scylla, Elvis is dead. And he was already emotional, and I just yelled, you know, I thought he was kidding. You know, you just never imagine that. That we would joke around all the time. And then when I found out that, you know, it was true, and I just went to my bedroom and just stayed, and Joe said he'd send the plane for me, the private plane. And I just stayed in my room and couldn't believe it and cried, and I don't know.
It's interesting, even now, this is 50 years ago, pretty much, nearly.
Yeah.
But it still has a profound effect on you.
I can still hear Joe Esposito's words. Scylla, Elvis is dead. And that was like, I just couldn't imagine him ever, you know, especially, you know, his age and all, being still so young and wanting to do so much and had so much planned, and not having him, not talking to him, not having him be the father of our child. And what, you know, my big fear was Lisa, you know, and how do I tell her? And she was only 9 at the time.
I have a daughter of 11, and I can't imagine a harder conversation to have.
Right.
How did you tell her?
Well, I just told her we were going to Graceland and we were going to go see Daddy, but Daddy won't be, you know, Daddy will be resting. And she just asked me, and she goes, well, what, resting? I've never actually told this before because it's been hard. But I said, well, he's going to go to sleep for a while. And she goes, will I be able to see him? And I said, yes, you'll be able to see him. You'll be able to see him. And then she sees him. And I don't think she really quite got it, but because she went out in the golf cart and started, she had a little friend, and driving in the golf cart and all around the backyard of Graceland. So it didn't really hit her until later.
I can't even imagine, because it was such a huge story for the rest of the world, but for you, this is real life. This is your man that you loved, still loved, still loved today.
Still loved today, yep. He was, like I said, he was unique. He was, his personality was unreal. He was caring. He cared for people. He had, he wondered why him. And when, I mean, there's stories about him. I don't know if you ever heard the story about there was a black woman who was looking at a car on Beale Street, a car dealership, and he was looking, you know, he was just driving around, and he saw her looking in the windows at the new cars that were there, and he said, told Charlie to stop the car. He stopped out, and he went over to the woman, and he goes, boy, those are nice cars. And he said, oh, yes, sir, they're beautiful. Look at that. And she goes, what one do you like? And she goes, ooh, I like that black one right there. No, that blue one right there. And he goes, really? Yeah, I kind of like that too. So then he takes her in, and they go in, see the car, and he says, what do you think? Oh, that's a beautiful car. You'll be good in that car, right? He goes, well, just a minute. He goes and gets the salesman and says, give me the keys to that car. I'm getting it. And he gives the keys to her. And that was a beautiful blue Cadillac, brand new. That's him. That's what he would do. Anyone in trouble, he'd give them money. Anyone who had, you know, a problem with anything, really, you know, and they couldn't afford it, even with some of the guys who needed medical care, he'd pay for it.
When you've watched Elvis the movie and now Priscilla, and it's made you revisit all of these times that you had with him, do you have any part of you that thinks if only I'd done this, this, or this, things could have turned out differently?
You know, I don't know. I don't think so, because I really, you know, I gave my all to him. You know, I couldn't change his mind. I mean, he was strong-minded.
Well, I think he loved you and you loved him till the day he died, right? And that's clear.
Yes.
It was an extraordinary love story.
He would call me all the time. And it was so funny because whoever he was with, he would usually go into his bathroom to make the phone calls.
Do you remember your last conversation with him?
My last conversation, yes, was when Lisa was coming home, that she needed to come home because school was starting. And Lisa was there during that time.